Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're talking about open houses and whether or not open houses actually sell property. I'm Jeb Smith, real estate broker here in Huntington Beach, California. That's Southern California for those who don't know. First off, I want to say sorry about the audio. Unfortunately, my microphone isn't working, so the audio is not going to be as clear as normal. And secondly, if you're new to my channel, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. I'm here to help educate buyers and sellers on real estate. If you like the channel, hit subscribe, like the video, hit like. Again, it helps more people see the videos, which is ultimately my goal. So the question is, do open houses sell property? This is kind of a tricky question. So I'm going to give my 2 cents on it. And as a seller, you can take that for what it's worth and decide whether or not you want to do open houses. But, the saying goes, exposure drives demand, demand drives price. So that means the more exposure you get on a property, the higher the demand, the more likely you are to get your price on the property. So that means marketing through social media, through print, through TV. So doing all of those marketing items is what's going to help drive that exposure, that demand on the property. But people aren't going to want to make an offer on that property without being able to see it. So open houses are a really good way to get a lot of people into a property in a very short period of time. And it's very, very critical, in my opinion, in the first couple of weeks of a property being listed, of doing open houses. So if you're going on the market, say on a Wednesday or a Friday or whatever it is, you want to make sure you're doing open houses the first couple of weeks, because that's when the majority of the eyes are going to be on your property. When a property first comes to the market, that's when the most people are looking at it. So you want to get as many people through there as conveniently as possible to see that property. And so, by making scheduling difficult, making short time blocked windows, making it, only 1 hour a day or whatever, that makes it very, very difficult for people to see property. And so by having open houses, having a 2 to 3 hour window, it's not only convenient for you as a seller. I realize you got to be out of your house, and if you have dogs or kids or that sort of thing, it's tough, but understand that's a 3 hour window versus 5 days a week for trying to figure out your timeline. So it's easier to block that 3 hours out at one time than having to block out time each day. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't block out time each day. I'm just trying to say, from a convenience standpoint, open houses are a really good way to get a lot of people into a property. So after the first couple of weeks, should you continue to do open houses? Here's my theory, is that if a property's vacant, easy to show, it's not as important, because realtors can get in there, show their buyer's property whenever it's convenient for them. If you have kids, if scheduling is very difficult, if you work nights or whatever it is, if it's difficult to get people in there during certain times during the day, then that's when open houses are really convenient, because it's easier to block out that 3 hour time frame to get the dogs or kids, everybody out at one time, take them to grandma's, take them to the beach, take them to wherever, so that you can get the most amount of people through in that period of time. If you're not able to get people through the property, you're going to have trouble getting your price on the property, right? I mean, we're in a society, we're in a generation of instant gratification. When somebody sees something they want to see it then. They don't want to wait, 4, 5, 6 days, 2 weeks to see a property. So if you're going to list your property for sale, you got to make it convenient for people to see it. Open houses are one of those ways to do it. Now, the question that I actually posed was, do open houses actually sell properties? It's tough to say whether the open house itself sold the property, but what I will say is that most people these days are looking online through various websites to see when properties are going to be open to see, because they want to go see it on their schedule. They want to go see it sometimes without their realtor. Sometimes they don't have a realtor. Sometimes they don't want to inconvenience people in order to see property, so they're going out and looking at open houses. And so if it's not on an open house, sometimes they won't inconvenience whoever it is that's helping them in order to even ask somebody to show them that property. So you'll have some buyers that could be potential buyers on your property that will never take the time to call somebody to see it, just because they feel like it's an inconvenience, or they don't have the time during the week or whatever it is to see it. So you're missing a pool of your potential buyers by doing that. But at the same time, what I will say is that the majority of people coming through an open house are going to be your neighbors, are going to be people that, probably have no actual interest in buying your property, but they're interested in seeing maybe the community or the design or something about it caught their eye, so they wanted to see it, but maybe they're not in the market for that particular thing, or maybe they're not even pre-approved to purchase at that time. So you're going to get a lot of people that come through that aren't potential buyers, but you're going to get a lot of people that come through that wouldn't have come through otherwise. So those are buyers, potential buyers for your property. And then you're going to get people that are interested, right? That want to make an offer. So whether or not the open house actually sold the property, it's an opportunity to get people in there to see it. And ultimately that's the goal, right? You want to get as many people through the property as often as possible to help create that buzz about the property, for one, so that, the more buzz you have about a property, the more demand, the more opportunity you have to hit the price that you're ultimately looking for. So I think open houses are important in that regard. Now, I do know agents that will do open houses every weekend, that say open houses, you have to do them every single weekend as long as the property is listed. I don't believe that. I think after the first couple of weeks of doing an open house, you can start to space them out. They don't need to be every weekend. Again, if you're getting people in there, if you're making it convenient for them to see it, you may not need them at all. It's really kind of a preference thing on your side. But again, from a convenience standpoint, open houses usually seem to fit most people's schedule a little better than doing something every single day. And not to say you shouldn't do both, as I mentioned earlier, because you should get as many people in there as often as possible to see the property, because ultimately that's what's going to help drive demand, drive price, etc. So I hope that's helpful. And as I mentioned a minute ago, I'm going to back up a second. A lot of listing agents use open houses to meet sellers, to meet buyers. So that's why people want to do open houses a lot. Is it's more for the listing agent getting additional business out of it than it is actually selling the property. So keep that in mind as a seller. It's not always the best for you. Sometimes it's the best for the listing agent. And I think more importantly, it's better to do it during the week, because that is, it's better to do open houses right when it's initially listed than it is, later down the road. So I hope that is helpful. If you have additional questions about open houses, buying property, selling property, do me a favor, comment below. I want to address it. And as always, I appreciate you taking the time to watch, and we'll see you again soon, hopefully with a microphone. All right, have a great day. Bye-bye.